This right here is the 2023 Honda City RS, one of the latest iterations of the most famous Honda City. Now, one of the first things you'd notice is, oh, why does it look like a Honda Civic? Well, I think that's because the Honda Civic now looks more like the Accord, and that's why the Honda City has been upgraded to a more modern design that's more similar to the Honda Civic. Now, this starts out at 953,000 pesos, while the RS model is about 1,093,000 pesos. Now, the reason I'm here today is to kind of give you guys a taste of how it feels like to own the latest City RS. My name is rephbangsil for rephmotors. Na-miss ko kayo. We're back. Starting with the front of the RS, you see here that it's a very aggressive looking front, one of the most beautiful designed ones, I would say. The first thing that you'd notice is this honeycomb grille that goes along the whole bumper area and extends to the lower diffuser looking part of the lower bumper of the car. Piano black din yung upper grille niya, which extends all over the whole hood. And we also have auto LED daytime running lights, very beautiful. And of course, LED headlamps and LED fog lamps. If there's anything to say about this car, it's that it's very aggressive, very sporty, and it's really nothing much to say about this except that it's really good. The City is powered by a 1.5-liter VTEC engine with Earth Dreams technology. It makes around 119 horsepower and 145 Newton meters of torque. It is fitted to a CVT transmission, and honestly, it makes around 11 kilometers per liter, so that's pretty good for an engine like this. If you look at it, actually, medyo mas maliit yung engine compared to the rest of the hood, which means that this engine could have been bigger than it actually was, and the City could have been smaller than it actually is. So there's a lot of leg room or work around areas here to be able to fit whatever you'd want to make it faster. But honestly, in this engine, with this car, okay na okay siya, and it's a good engine in my book. The wheels come with 185/55 R16s, not too thick, not too thin either, just perfect for daily driving. It comes in a two-tone color, and we have disc brakes in the front and drum brakes in the back. Now, looking at this car at this angle, it's actually just right for the body design of the Honda City, and I think it's a good wheel choice. The side of the Honda City is one of my most favorite parts of the vehicle just because of the fact that it looks very sporty. We have power folding side mirrors here. We have door locks here where if you come up with your key, you can press the button and it'll automatically unlock. Going here to the very back, we also have a shark's fin antenna on the roof, and we also have a rear spoiler that really adds to the sporty characteristic of the Honda City RS. The rear of the Honda City is, as you expected, very sporty looking. The first thing that you'd notice is this piano black sort of ducktail, or actually ducktail siya, I don't think it's a spoiler. You go here to the lower portion, you have your reverse camera. You also have dual combination LED tail lamps, very beautiful, especially at night. We have the RS logo right here, and then we also have another dual sort of diffuser looking rear lower part of the bumper that really adds to the characteristic of the sporty styling of the Honda City. One of the first things I noticed when I looked at the trunk of the Honda City was, oh, it kind of looks small from the outside. But when I actually opened it up, I was actually extremely surprised to see that this is one of the biggest trunk layouts I've ever seen in a sedan. When you look at it, you'd usually assume that, oh, it can probably fit 1 or 2 or 3 maletas, but I think it can fit much more because this is just wild. Looking at it from the outside, it doesn't really look like much, but it's insanely spaceful. So this is me sitting down in front of the Honda City RS, and this is how it looks like to be 5'10" in the front. And honestly, this is a comfortable seating position with a lot of space in the back. There is no electrical automatic adjustments on the seats, and you have everything you need actually in this cabin. Now, for the door controls here, we have our power folding side mirror controls. We have our window controls for all 4 windows, lock and unlock. We also have a tweeter speaker here for added audio experience. Once again, 5'10" in the second row this time. Quite comfortable. I would say this is a bit more comfortable than the Vios. And what's nice about this area is there are a lot of amenities that you wouldn't normally see in a car. Like what? We have rear aircon blowers here. We have two 12-volt power outlet adapters. Kung kailangan mo mag-PlayStation, kung meron kang adapter, kung kailangan mo mag-work on your laptop, if you have an adapter that can make that work, this car can do that for you. Now, one feature that I actually noticed just now about this car is, yes, it does have speakers in the door panel of the car, but one thing that you don't usually see often is it also has another speaker panel near the door locks, and that's very interesting for me and very premium. You don't see that a lot. And one last thing. One thing that a lot of people overlook these days is this. Your center armrest with a cup holder. So kung kailangan mo man maging VIP towards your drive with your Honda City RS, you can do just that. The interior of the city reminds me very much of the FC Honda Civic. I think a lot of the inspiration truly came from there, but in terms of the RS styling, of course, it's very evident with these red stitches that go across the whole dashboard. We also have those red stitches that go along the front seats. Meron din tayong sort of leather on the sides and then sort of a mesh type of very soft fabric here in the middle. Very beautiful cabin in itself, but one of the most favorite features that I like in this car is the steering wheel, because this is actually full leather and there are a lot of components here that you would actually appreciate, such as cruise control. We have here our volume buttons, we have here our reverse and forward skip to songs, we have our sources, voice control, voice command, and of course, one thing that the City really stands out for is these paddle shifters, because imagine, hindi nga siya manual transmission, but when you drive and use these paddle shifters, you feel like you're in a much faster car, actually very sports supercar-like in the thing with these paddle shifters, and I think this really adds a lot to why you would choose the City RS. Now, in terms of the transmission, yes, CVT siya, but okay naman, okay naman. I really don't understand all the fuss about it because it handles well for me and wala naman siyang delay, at least to me, so I enjoy that very much. Now, one thing that I also really enjoy is this manual handbrake lever. Ito, nawala na to in the future, in most cars these days. And I love the fact that it's still here because iba pa rin yung feeling na papark ka tapos akit mo siya ng ganon. Or maybe that's the old school in me. Now, we also have automated AC controls here. Digital na rin siya. Very beautiful, and it fits the overall styling of the vehicle. Overall, I like it. I like the color pattern. I like the designs. I like how modern it is. We have a big, siguro this is a 7 to 8 inch head unit here that has Apple CarPlay, wired Apple CarPlay, Bluetooth radio, everything you need, and nothing that you need to be changed. So I like this. I like this very much, and this is also a deciding factor in why I would choose this car. Now, if that's not enough for you, it has a push start, engine start stop button that again adds to the modern feature of the car, and it's very beautiful, very nice, and nothing I would change here. I just wish it probably had automatic seats at this price point, but okay lang naman yun. I can live with that. It's very beautiful. The gauge cluster is actually full analog. Merong one of those classic styled screens in the middle where you can see the mileage, the range, the fuel consumption, and those things. That one naman, I don't really care for. I just wish it was a little bit more modern. Pero the chrome bezels around the gauges actually give it a more stylish factor. One thing that I also noticed was it has an RPM or tachometer gauge. I think the previous model had that, pero the older first generation or second generation cities, wala kasi silang tachometer gauge. Although wala din namang temperature gauge to. It's one of those cars where pag sinart mo siya, lalabas yung blue na ilaw, and then kapag nawala yun, pwede ka nang umalis. But that's okay because you can always add an aftermarket one for that one, or just keep this as it is. So I've been driving the City RS for about a week now, and my initial impressions were that, well, of course, it's a very modern interior. You have your CarPlay here. You have a lot of driver-assisted features. You have your cruise control, and one of the best features in this car that makes you really enjoy it in the open roads is this. These paddle shifters are not usually something that you'd see in a class like this, but they put it here to be able to add up to its sporty-like style, and it's really helpful kasi it's again something that you wouldn't expect from this type of car. We have automated AC controls here, digital na siya, and then we have this sort of analog, parang retro modern type of gauge kasi analog pa yung some aspects niya, but some are also modern na din. Tapos merong touches of red that really make it, actually it reminds me of the Type R. Medyo ganun, same type of gauge cluster siya. In terms of being comfort, the car is pretty comfort, pero syempre for a sedan, As what you'd expect sa malubak na area, syempre malubak din siya at medyo matagtag. But otherwise, I mean, there's 4 of us in this car right now. We're sitting down pretty comfortably, and there are really no complaints in regards to the space. Kasi even if it does look like a small car from the outside, malaki yung space on the inside. Now, in terms of the transmission, I know that the transmission is a little bit controversial with some people. Sinasabi nila, oh, we don't like the CVT, we'd prefer a manual. But personally for me, I don't feel any problem with it so much. It's just that, syempre, from a car like this, if you're coming from a complete stop, syempre, medyo matagal before it reaches the revs that you want it to reach. Pero if you're in a highway, you know, going about 80, 100, 110, mafe-feel mo na mabilis naman yung car and the gearing is just right. Of course, you have your electrical power steering here. It's no longer hydraulic, meaning it's super comfortable. You can literally steer with a finger if you wanted to, and very comfortable yung grip niya. You have a lot of features here, such as your volume, your voice control. Yeah, Siri can be controlled from here. You have your cruise controls on the steering wheel button. You have your push start and stop button right here. It's lit up by a red color, and everything is just great. In terms of fuel consumption, our real-time fuel consumption right now, well, Honda claims it can reach up to 11 kilometers per liter. I think we're getting an average of about 10.3 right now. We're in the city, so babaksak siguro yan ng 9. Earlier today in Manila, we were getting 7, but all things considered, it's still pretty okay, and the car is silent, the cabin is pretty much secure, and no complaints in regards to driving this car. Now, the question that remains is, does the City RS have what it takes to be your next car? Well, of course, alongside other cars in the same class, such as the Vios. If you want to go up for a different class, you can always go for the Geely Coolray and these other vehicles. Meron din tayong Hyundai Accent, and there's also the MG5 that's actually pretty impressive. Personally, I think that Japanese reliability will always be something that you should look out for, because this is something that's known. I'm not saying that Chinese brands are not reliable. It's just that if you want something that you've always known, something you can trust entirely 100%, Honda is a good way to go. But at 1.1 million, I understand that it might be steep for some buyers, but then again, you're getting a lot of things for this car. You're getting, of course, the sports styling, you're getting comfort, you have the enjoyment of the paddle shifters, you have good fuel consumption, and of course, you know that the resale value is going to be good. In that sense, I think this is a car that's definitely worth checking out, but I don't think I can say that it's the king of its class. Of course, the GR Vios is still something that you should check out, but if anything, I think they're head-to-head, and it's definitely something to look out for. My name is rephbangsil for Reph Motors. I hope you guys enjoyed the review of the 2023 Honda City RS, one of the most beautiful and sportiest vehicles that I've ever seen that's actually available in the market today. If you guys have reviews or cars that you'd want reviewed, just let us know and we'll get back to it. I'm really happy to be back and to be doing reviews again with you guys, and I hope that we can do more. Sama-sama tayo dito. This whole year is ours. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.